Hello again, this is Mowog for the Cavern to... Huh? What weird acoustics. Hello again, this is Mowog for the Cavern to... Okay, something's wrong. Usually I have problems partway through, but... Shoot, not at the beginning. Hello again, this is Mowog. Oh, for crying out loud.
Whoa, Mowog, what's wrong?
It's this equipment. It's doing something to my audio. I can't get a proper recording.
Here, let me try. Hello again, this is Maurus for the Cavern today. Oh, I see what you mean.
I've been having a similar problem.
No, I'd say that is a totally different problem.
Wait, Jeff, you too?
Hi guys, guess what I did with the forums?
Let's try it.
Moose seems to be having a strange glitch too.
Hey, I know what you think. But I swear I'm not doing it.
If anyone would do it, I guess it would be Moose.
No, really, I swear.
Okay, we really need to find a way to mute that.
Alright, that's the clincher. We're standing here and suddenly the sound stops. Somebody's messing with us. Somebody who can also hear us.
Dalkin, you've gone from
Rewind /
replay to reverse / playback.
I think I know who the culprit is. Hold on. Based on where this audio cable is going, I think I know right where he is.
Jonathas? We're coming for you.
I have to admit, Dalkin, you've adapted well to this hindrance of yours.
And you, Jeff, are getting more and more musical with each phrase.
As have you, Alhan.
And you too, Mowog.
I got him! Janathus is up here on the balcony feeding audio tune into the key somehow with his neighborhood buddy list.
Wait a minute.
Oh, Dalkin, you're talking forward again.
I know. Whew, that is a relief. Anyhow, autotune doesn't reverse people. How are you reversing me?
Oh, I'll never tell.
Well, with that dispensed with, I can get this Mowog Thought recorded.
And we can get the rest of the podcast rolling. If someone is done being mischievous. I am. For now.
Another day at the Cavern today.
Hello and welcome to The Cavern Today, Episode 6 for October 2010. This is Tyon, your host for this podcast. You know, there's no denying that the world as we know it has a bit of mist in it. When you hear that Zangarmarsh in the massively multiplayer RPG World of Warcraft is in part inspired by Uru, you begin to wonder just how far this influence spreads. Having recently played with a demo called Cumulus, created on the Quest 3D platform by a company called Paladin Studios, you have no trouble sensing a Myst-like vibe. Janathus has been in touch with that company, and he discovered there are some Myst fans amongst the staffers. When you try Cumulus, you have no trouble seeing that those staffers definitely hold some sway where designs and concepts are concerned. You begin to wonder if that's the legacy of Myst. It's known as the one-time best-selling CD-ROM game of all time, and arguably the best-selling adventure game of all time. Whether Myst as a franchise perpetuates or not, The gaming industry as we know it has been touched by the effect Myst had on the industry, and I personally think we're all a little better off for it. With that said, our podcast this month will be a bit more over the fence, in that it's not entirely Myst related. However, as we are all gamers, we all have our angle on technology that we'd like to see covered. 3D tech, current titles, old titles being redone, and all manner of news that appeals to our staffers and audience. We do our best to cater to our listeners, and I hope that you find the efforts worthwhile. The talk in this podcast is a bit longer than our usual fare, but it has the return of our beloved Sherry. And when you bring her on to talk about things, well, there's plenty to be said. So, I give you The Cavern Today, Episode 6. Enjoy!
You're listening to another edition of TCT Talk, your roundtable chatterbox about the goings-on in the Cavern community, and anything and everything over the fence from that, gaming, you name it. This month we have with us Anthony.
Hey guys, I'm back!
Wing.
Ostriches.
Dalkin.
Greetings, citizens.
Janathus.
Welcome to the Cavern Today.
And his magic helmet. And me, Sherry. Hi. They got me back. Anyway, okay. What are we talking about?
Do the cherry dance. Do the cherry dance.
Swivel, 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 swivel. Do the cherry dance.
First up, the Good Old Games website went down.
No, it can't be true.
And then it came back up.
And it was not really that different.
And if you had a login to what they called the beta period, you got a free game.
What?
Okay. Explain to me what Good Old Games is. Because, remember,
as you may or may not know, computer games have existed for many millennia, predating today's current Windows 7 operating system. They existed on Windows Vista, Windows XP, Windows 98, and what have you.
They existed on DOS.
Good Old Games has come up with an idea
like that ancient stone tablet computer thing?
Oh, wait. Hey, wait. I turned on their website, which is funny. It's gog.com. And I'm looking at the titles they have, and sure enough, on the right-hand side, Myst Masterpiece Edition.
Yep, they just got that not that long ago.
Thank you. Woot. Love the Myst universe. Be a part of the Myst universe. Oh, yeah, baby.
Yep, and so their whole point is to actually make all those old games that worked on old operating systems and old setups work on today's operating systems, so you can buy them today and play them on a brand new computer. And because they're older games, they don't need that really heightened hardware to run it. So old games like Giant Citizen Kabuto or yeah, I know you didn't know what that was.
Well,
but it's fun. It's a fun game, and it's a funny game too.
I think it's interesting, though. I mean, I don't know. I'm going to have to explore this Good Old Games further, because I don't know if anybody else has this problem, but try installing Myst in its original form onto one of these new machines, and it's just like, huh, what? You have to, what is it, uninstall your Flash player?
Oh, no, that was QuickTime.
Oh, QuickTime. There you go.
Yeah, but the Riven, you can just install it and it just runs.
Yeah, I know. I tried to put, I have my Myst 10th Anniversary Edition, the nice boxed edition they had. I took it over to my sister's when she was going through chemotherapy, and I took it for her, and I tried to install Myst, and it went, no, I'm not doing it.
Yep.
Yeah, it says it doesn't like you. And it's like, neener, can't play.
How can you live without the original Myst? I mean, come on. Collecting
I have friends that don't even know what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've dealt with that like pretty much my whole life for some reason.
There are all kinds of games I've played that people don't know about anymore.
Yeah, years ago, I was at a GameStop at this mall nearby, and somebody was walking in there and he said, "Oh, you can get missed." He was like, "I hate that game. Where are all the people?" I'm like, okay.
I think part of the point is there are no people.
That's the point. Is why aren't there any people?
Right.
Guys, in the spring semester, I don't know if the community knows. That's why I've been out. I'm in school again. I'm at UNLV, and it was really funny. We had to do a piece for. We had to do a project about the most interesting. What's your most interesting thing in your life? And I did my presentation on being a part of the Uru community and being a part of the Mist universe. Okay, I'm 39. Most of the kids I go to school with are 18. They
40
were like,
if you round
"What's
up.
Mist? What's Mist?" And don't make me 40 yet, John, or I will have to kill you. Anyway, no. And they were like, "What is this?" And I sat there kind of like, okay, I'm
You don't
feeling
know?
right around now. And so I did 7 minutes on being a part of the Mist universe and taking an adventure through a book. And they're like, can you text it? And I'm like,
Can you text it?
and I'm just thinking to myself going, where is my Atari 2600 so I can just crawl underneath it?
They know the Halos and the Call of Duties.
Yeah, the gaming community has changed over the years.
Losers.
As it's grown.
Sigh.
What happened to the intellectuals? What happened to the good old
They didn't go away. They were just outnumbered.
Yeah, adventure games have become more action adventure.
Yeah.
And to that end, I kind of have the problem myself, like playing Riven. I have to really change my mindset to sit down and play it. Because I'm just used to games being much more fast-paced.
I still play those style games. I mean, I still play Civilization, and that's turn-based.
Okay. Now, the whole thing, if you really want action-adventure, blood and gore in a Mist game, it's the Riven counting machine. That's right. Count to 4, have the guy get eaten by the shark. There you go. There's your violence. Nom.
That's not a shark, that's a wark.
It's a
giant whale thingy.
Sherry, your lore was just corrected. How do you feel?
Yes, I know. Do you know how long it's been since I've played Riven? Forever.
10 years.
You remember, I played, was it Riven and Exile after I played Uru?
Ooh, wow.
Now, let me just warn you. If you get Riven on Good Old Games, or if you get it on Steam, you have one particular problem you want to be aware of before running the game.
What do tell?
Any programs you run on the computer, don't run them while you're running Riven. Don't leave Skype up. Don't leave your instant messenger up. Don't leave anything on the screen. Only run the game, and I'll tell you why. Because the game's going to scale you down to 640 by 480, and everything that was on the screen will be scaled down to 640 by 480. When the game's over, you'll have a nice little 640 by 480 web browser, or a nice 640 by 480 buddy list for Skype. So yeah, if you leave everything off, you'll avoid that issue.
Yeah, I had the same problem when I was playing Dark Forces on Steam. It scaled everything down to like the tiniest.
Yeah.
That was fun.
And Steam looks awesome at 640 by 480. I can see like one of my games in my game list. It's awesome. So
much less giant bitmapped images, It's like,
the sad thing is I can still remember playing on a 640 by 480 screen when I was like 3 years old.
Remember when 1024 by 768 was gargantuan? Wow.
Yes.
Nobody used that big a resolution.
Hey, when I was in web design school, dude, 800 by 600, man, that's what you design for. I look at some of the.
I think they still do.
It's like, oh.
Nope, it's now the 1024 by.
Is it? Okay.
768.
Yeah.
On a funny resolution note, if you any of you folks remember Supergram, she did a screenshot of her web browser one day to show me something, and I had trouble not laughing at her because she's got this massive 21-inch CRT, and she's running 800 by 600, and she's got the Netscape browser. That's what she was using at the time. And you know how like in Internet Explorer and the early Firefox, like all the parts of the browser could be rearranged. So you could literally have like the menu bar, file edit view, the address bar, the button bar with the names below the buttons, and then like your little links bar. Well, she had all those things in her Netscape, and there was literally like maybe less than 30% of the screen left over at the bottom for the web page. Mind you, this is at 800 by 600. It's like when she loads web pages, she can see the header at the top. That's it. And it's like such a waste of a 21-inch display.
How did you start talking about this?
Yeah, mine's 1280 by 1024.
Mine is a minuscule 1920 by 1200.
Yeah.
What, John? What is mine? 1650 by
1650 by 1050.
Yeah, there you go. I love it. You know my machine better than I do.
What kind of processor do I have in? Quad-core. What video card do I have?
So wrangling the discussion back to where it was. So what is this all about? Good old games going down.
They went down. It was a publicity stunt, essentially.
Yep.
That's what it all was. It was just, hey, look at us. We sell games, and they're old, and you want them.
You want them now!
Look at how much you were panicking when we disappeared.
So bad.
Well, the whole thing is, the panic wasn't so much that they disappeared. It's like, I bought stuff.
Yeah.
What about the stuff I bought? And Wing, you could get Beyond Good and Evil from Good Old Games or from Steam. You have a choice.
Ooh.
And it's like $5 or $6.
Mm.
And when you have that job, you'll be able to afford that.
Oh, hush.
I'd
rather not think about that right now.
Okay. So anyway, talking about old and primitive games that nobody likes, the 3DS is launching soon.
Ha ha, comedy.
Portable.
According to the bullet point, it features downloadable Game Boy games. Does this mean you can have Tetris on your 3DS?
Yes, you can.
That's
Game Boy and Game Boy Color game, apparently, that they released in the
color.
Yeah, they did do color.
And
Sorry,
I expect it'll
remember
be something like the Wii's Virtual Console, where every now and then they release a new pack of games and slowly build up the library.
Are we excited?
I don't know. I've still got my Game Boy Advance. If I want to play Game Boy games, I'll play it on there.
Yeah, what I'm interested in is the 3D aspect. I want to see how they use that.
Well, it doesn't require glasses.
Nope.
Yeah, but
It uses a special screen.
Yeah, the way it works is you actually have to have your head in a certain position relative to the screen, and if you move out of that little position, it doesn't really work.
Nope.
So what are you going to do? Be playing this thing in a neck brace?
No. The range is reasonable for normally holding it.
Yeah, but it's not an effect that would work on a console.
Yeah, people were talking about how they want to make TVs like this, but they said, the screen size on a 3DS is possible. The screen size on a TV is prohibitively expensive.
Yeah, and even then you'd have a pretty narrow range where you could actually sit in front of the television and do it.
You wouldn't be able to,
I don't think
have it where, you have sitting all around the living room and...
Yeah, I don't think 3D is going to catch on until you can do it without glasses.
Yeah.
So
and without sitting in one specific spot in the living room.
Yeah. Holographic technology, that's what I'm waiting for.
Yeah, me too.
There you go.
But in related news to the Virtual Console, release date has been announced, at least for the Japanese market. In Japan, it's going to be released on February 26th, 2011. So any Japanese listeners, mark your calendars. It's less specific for the European and North American markets. They've just said March 2011.
Huh.
So we have that to look forward to.
Well, that's very interesting. Sherry, I hear WoW's got a new patch.
Yes.
No
Recently, we have, John's just on me. 4.0 has come out, and what they did is they retooled all of the talent trees in anticipation for the release of Cataclysm this December. And,
hey, wait a minute. They simplified the talent trees. Does that mean they're going to add to the talent trees when Cataclysm comes out?
No. That means that it is a 41-point talent tree, and the caveat is that you have to place 31 points into a particular talent tree before you can expand to another one. And a lot of people in the community are not happy about that.
Wow.
Which reminds me, John, you sent me one of those lolcats, and the lolcat says, it's got its claws bared, and it says, I don't do touchy-feely, I do ouchy-bleedy. Okay, that little picture of that black cat with its claws extended, that was me. That was my night elf druid just going to town, eating things in my cat form. And before the 4.0 came out, the minute 4.0 came out, I was declawed. I was like, meow. Yeah, they have nerfed a lot of classes. They nerfed cats to Kingdom Come. We've been declawed, and we're kind of waiting because there's some new stats. They have taken out in 4.0. They discarded spell power. They discarded armor penetration. They discarded a whole ton of stats, and really homogenized them into now you get spell power out of intellect. And,
so they're turning it into even more a play school MMO.
Well, yeah, they're having a really good time nerfing everybody. I have paladin healers that are just crying because they have been nerfed so hard. So, 4.0 is really, like a total reboot of whatever the hunters out there. I know a couple of hunters over in the TMP. Get onto your talent trees. It looks like, believe it or not, and a lot of hunters will cringe at this, Beast Mastery right now in 4.0 is a very nice talent because they've overpowered the pets. There's just a lot of changes, and everybody is basically having to go back to square one and figure out their class again.
Well,
anyway,
but isn't the world rumbling now?
Yes. Oh my goodness, yes. You can be in any of the major cities, and there's all of a sudden you'll be at the auction house. You'll be posting your auctions for the week, and then all of a sudden everything will rumble, and you're like, "Whoa!" Dust is kind of falling from the ceiling.
What would be cool is if when the rumble happened, everyone would fall down.
It's. I have a feeling the rumbling is going to become a little bit more severe as we go. There's just so much stuff to cover. Now, I was lucky enough to have a guild master who let me write an essay for the guild beta essay contest, and we got picked. My guild got picked for it. But little tip from me to all of you wowers, before Cataclysm goes live, I want you guys to be logging out in, if you are Horde, make sure you're logging out over in Razor Hill near Ogrimmar, and for the Alliance you'll be wanting to log out in Goldshire, which is near Stormwind. And trust me when I say you are going to say thank you for that, because there are new flight points at those locations that you'll be able to fly into the major cities while everybody is, jostling around and logging out in those towns and lagging out and crashing. You're going to be able to go straight to the new flight trainer, get your Azerothian navigation for a nice whopping 250 gold, and take to the skies.
Wow, that's it?
That's right. They've changed it. It's now.
Is that NDA? Are you supposed to be telling us that?
No, actually. It's kind of well known.
Oh, okay.
They talk about it on the forums a lot.
Anyway,
Oh,
wait. That allows you to fly an Azeroth, but that doesn't give you the speed boost, does it?
No. Speed boost is completely different. So if you have not done your what a long strange trip it's
been, they
get
you coming and going, I tell you.
Get your what you can do to go around having to pay all that money for your 310 flight speed is work on your the holiday achievements, and you go down, and when you complete them all, you get one that's called what a long strange trip it's been, and you're awarded with a 310 Violet Protodrake. Yeah, as soon as you have that, you don't have to pay for it anymore. So yeah, get working on that, guys, because that's pretty huge. But 4.0 really is the jumping off point for a lot of stuff. Now there is some stuff I don't know if we've got some raiders out there, and you guys are going to want to hear this. I have actually been sitting in on. I got my BlizzCon virtual ticket, which was a lot of fun, and just yesterday, October 22nd, I sat and watched the raid and dungeon panel for BlizzCon, and some neat notes in there are that simply the newest raid coming out in patch 4.1 is called the Firelands. What they have done is they've decided to take all of the dungeons, and they are shooting for around 7 bosses per raid instance now, because they want everything to be clearable in an evening. And I thought that was really interesting, because there's a lot of raids who, one night you'll get 25 people, another night you'll get 10. And so they have this new flexible raid lock system that you can now, if you have 25 people one night, but you can only get 10 on your second night of raiding, you could break it down into a 10-man, which is nice.
Man.
So
you complain about how we do tech talk, and man, when you get into your WoW stuff, you don't even have the perspective anymore how lost people are for all those details you're talking about.
Sorry. But the WoW raiders out there will know exactly what I'm talking about, because I love my WoW people. You guys rock. Whether you are Horde or Alliance, love you both. But I have to say, Worgen for the win. Anyway, Worgen.
I do think the Worgen are neat.
Worgen are just, yeah, man.
The only thing I'm thinking is like maybe people might want to roll a tune brand new again so they can see what because the content's supposed to be all new from 1 to 80, so.
Well, and I have to say, the goblins are rocking for you Hordes. Try a goblin. I think you'll really enjoy it. My house from here. They are getting one of the world's coolest mounts. They get a little go-kart. And so,
yes.
yeah, the goblins out there are going to be go-karting around. And so, yeah.
Warcraft cart.
I just want to know what they say when you tell them to do silly. When they say the jokes.
Oh, I did not try the jokes.
Maybe they'll make some reference to the blue shell.
Oh, but for the Worgen, some of the jokes are really good. The male Worgen jokes, wow. You know how sometimes you go, I don't bite hard. They have jokes like that. It's like, hey, I've been flea dipped, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But that's there's some really exciting stuff going on inside the patch. Take some time. Don't let 4.0, for all my wowers out there, don't let 4.0 throw you off. You guys are from Uru. This means you adapt, improvise, overcome.
And they're making it easier.
And don't forget, in 4.1, the mount for the Baron's Mount in Stratholme is going bye-bye. The Reigns of the Raven Lord over in Sethek Halls is going bye-bye. The mounts in Zul'Gurub going bye-bye. So go out, make your raid groups, and get in there to those instances or whatever and farm those mounts, because once they are gone, it is over. That you will not see them again. So
Ravenlord's cool.
Guess what? You can have your shot at a bird, and you can go every day. Remember, heroics reset every day.
How frequent is the drop?
Oh gosh, the Reigns of the Raven Lord is like sub 1%
Oh
drop rate, so you have to go through and find that thing every day.
Okay, yeah, whatever. Okay.
And it's you know what? It's just like the Baron's Mount. It's like the Baron's Mount in Stratholme. Either you're going to get it or you're not. I think I'm done with 4.0.
Hey, you guys want to see some cool stuff? Someone posted a link here on this website.
Wing, stop hacking. What are you doing?
Jeez, Wing.
This is my Steam.
Okay, I got it back. Sorry, guys. I actually managed to get myself fished in Steam.
Darn those fishers.
Yeah, apparently someone sent me a link saying that someone had posted something about me on the Steam forums, and the link that they sent me actually sent me to a very legitimate-looking Steam community login page, but it didn't have my login info, and I was stupid enough to log into it.
Just to clarify, do things get posted about you on the forums very often?
No.
So you're not a scandalous steamer?
No, I'm not.
Yes, you are.
I lost control.
Quit lying, Wing.
I lost my control of my account for a little bit. Apparently, I hear it was just sending out the exact same message through my Steam account, but I managed to get back. A little advice for anyone who does manage to get fished: just reset your password. That'll probably do it.
I actually had that happen to my WoW account, and I think what it is I actually I never bookmarked the World of Warcraft site, and so I just kept Googling, to find it to log into it, because it wasn't the worldofwarcraft.com I was going to, it was the us.battlenet, I think it was. So in any case, So I kept logging in, and I think just one time I clicked on the wrong search link. They somehow managed to jam the search terms, and I logged in one day and found all my armor missing. I had no gold.
You are naked.
And I was like, I'm like, how do you fix this? Because without your armor and the stats that it gives you, you are not formidable at the level you're at. So there's really nothing you can do about it.
Help you get? Just kidding.
So
I'm not formidable anyways. I'm Squishy Mage.
Oh, no, you guys have to see John as a boomkin, though. He's just so cool. It's like, it's Janathus with a broccoli chorus line. It's so cute.
I need to make a character in your guys' server.
I wonder if they actually dance. If you dance, if the trees will dance.
No, the trees do not dance.
I guess a lot of accounts are being hacked and phished all over the place. And my friend Matt...
I keep getting silly phishing attempt emails in my spam box.
Yep, my Gmail is aware of the WoW phishing emails, and I get at least a couple a week.
I've started to get them too, and the biggest thing that and there's a huge argument within this is that you need to get an authenticator. Whether you can pay $1 for a mobile authenticator for your iPhone, or you can pay $6.50 for one that sits on your keychain like what I have. And you know what? I honestly am a really big believer in the authenticators. Because
I don't know. One of the guys in the guild I was in before, something went wrong with his authenticator, and then he was locked out of his account until he could get that reversed.
Yeah.
So.
But you know what? It's worth it.
Well, my thing is,
that trouble. My
approach has been. I've had the same password for several years for a lot of things, and I do what I call tiered passwords. Like I have like this super simple. It's my last name for sites that I don't care about. Although you wouldn't be able to connect the login name because I use random login names for those. But it's like a site that, if somebody were to hack my account and like make forum posts in my name, oh no, big deal, and I give them my email address that I consider the throwaway where I think I'll get spam, and I do. But on the higher level passwords, I have 2 words and a number. And then for the highest level password, I hold shift for certain letters, and I replace certain letters with counterparts, like I is replaced by exclamation point, A's are replaced by the @ symbol, and so forth. So the highest level password are for places where money is involved, things like iTunes and Amazon,
PayPal.
Yeah. So so my advice on that front is not so much the activator, because I think it's too much of authenticator. It puts you in too much of a hole, in my opinion, because if it goes bad or whatever reason, the puppy chews it up or something, too bad, you're stuck. My thought is just make sure you change your passwords on a regular basis. Make sure that they are complex, and try to have some variations. And the one thing I noticed is WoW does not accept special symbols in their password, which kind of bugs me. So you can't even make a hardened password.
Well, the whole thing for me is that, I work for my passwords, I work a minimum of 15 characters. Minimum. 15 characters, and then it is a mix of letters and numbers. I never have the same password twice.
Yeah, Drachmeth got hacked on his Gmail, and now his passwords are like, EXF1MC2 capital F, just crazy alphanumeric sequences.
My friend KP, who is really an awesome guy, what he does is he actually bases his off of movies. And so he'll take his favorite line out of a movie, and he will turn it into his password, and he'll take the first letter of every word in the line of the movies. Yeah, and then he'll do it like that. And I think it can
be remembered, yeah.
Yeah, so he can easily remember it.
I've understood that. I mean, that's been a recommendation from the security classes I took in school, but I could never wrap my mind around it. It just doesn't work for me. So I take words that I consider things that I would remember, and then I pervert them by changing, E's for 3's, I's for exclamation points, and capitalizing random parts of it.
Yeah.
If there's a syllable, like, I don't know, Starfisher, the S in the middle of Fisher would be capitalized because it's a syllable. It should be capitalized.
Yeah, but you know what? And it's also, one thing people, I think, forget when it comes to computer security is to have safe browsing habits. I mean, safe browsing habits is probably your best insurance against being hacked. Because if you're going to sites that are trusted, you've got your firewall up,
well, there's a couple of levels on that front. I mean, it's not just the sites; it's the content. If you find it difficult, as an example, you're trying to say download a wallpaper or a screensaver or something from a site, you're having trouble clicking on the actual link that does it. That's a pretty good sure sign that you're on a site that's not good. And if that content is legitimate, there's someplace else to get it. Additionally, another way to safeguard yourself is to actually switch web browsers from Internet Explorer. Firefox or Google Chrome will give you the most secure environment. I mean, to my opinion, Chrome is the more secure of the two, because Firefox. I had a Trojan slip through on Firefox around the time that I finally committed to using Chrome full time, and
Oh, I love Chrome.
Yeah, I
Chrome
really do.
It's like the world's greatest browser. I switched. I was on Firefox, and as soon as Google Chrome came out and I tried it, I was like, oh, I'm liking. Yeah. And so I just switched to Google Chrome.
My coworker's like, "Oh, it's too girly for me." Like, what's girly about it? It's just simple.
It's so clean. It's a very clean browser.
Yes, it's very clean. It's like, wow, there's so much more like actual visible web space as opposed to like all the crud that was cluttered up by toolbars.
Yeah.
My
also,
other browsers.
It's no matter what Internet Explorer does, no matter what Firefox does, and I'm trying both the current betas, they still don't load as fast as Chrome. Not the program, not the web pages.
Their commercials do not lie. Their commercials do not lie. I mean, you load something up and zing, it's done.
I tried Chrome, and it took longer to boot up than Firefox did.
That's not been my experience. Yeah, well, I've installed Chrome on a couple of customers' computers, and it won't run properly. So something has been wrong in those cases. But the vast majority, I had a guy on AOL one day who was like, first off, that was his beginning.
AOL.
He's on AOL, and so like all he does is like these people who deal with AOL, like as far as they're concerned, if their computer were boot AOL, they would be happy. They don't even want to know what Windows does. And so his problem was his game site was loading very slowly, and in some cases wasn't loading at all. I installed Chrome and clicked the same site, and bam, there it was. It popped right up. I was like, wait a minute, I think I might like this Chrome thing.
You think? So Chrome is really good.
Yeah, AOL, of course, is not a good comparison because AOL is not just a browser. AOL has a lot of overhead because of all the communication it does. But in any case...
AOL is a steaming pile of...
You get the idea.
Stuff.
Yeah. The main point with Chrome, the one thing I really like about it is it will stop sites and say, wait a minute, this looks bad. Maybe you might want to not go here.
Yeah. And I love personally how if you are not on a site that is a secure site, it will literally put a red slash through the HTTP to let you know, hi, you're not on a secure site. So be careful what you're entering, be careful what you're, and like that.
And in addition to using the safe browser and having safe browser habits, anytime anyone sends you any link at all, make sure you read the entire thing. If it's claiming to be, a site that you know or a site that you trust, make sure you read it and compare it to the actual URL of the site.
Usually in the web browser, I'm not sure if every web browser or just Gmail, but usually if you put your pointer on the link, it'll tell you where the address actually goes.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Bottom left corner, I always check that.
Yes.
Always read the URLs that you get.
Yeah.
Because I have had numerous phishing attempts try to sucker me in, and they're slight deviations from trusted sites. Like maybe there's a period in between words or something. Always read the entire URL.
Yeah, they could be used. But
I've gotten phishing emails where like they will actually disguise the URL, so like the link that appears in the email looks like a valid link, but it's actually, even if it says like, battle.net, if you hover your cursor over that link, the displayed link in the bottom left corner is actually different than what you see on the screen. So you always want to check that as well.
Yeah, always be suspicious of shortened URLs. Tiny URL or bit URL or whatever they're called. Always check to see where they go before you actually go there. Because even if it's from someone you trust, you don't know if they've been, hijacked or if there's a bot in control of their account. Always make sure that you check the links.
It's not all bad stuff that you could be doing because websites can be hacked, and it doesn't have to be illegitimate sites. It happens in the New York Times, for Christ's sake. I mean, it happens all over the place. So you need a regular virus scan. You need antivirus if you don't have it. A really powerful scanning tool that you can use in lieu of, like, if you think you're infected but your antivirus ran out and you can't afford to get another one right now, Malwarebytes. It's free and it does a great job of cleaning systems. If you step in soon enough, it'll be enough. If you wait, you might have an infection, but you can't really do anything about it now and you have to pay somebody to get it fixed. You sit on it for a while. Well, infections on computers don't heal. They just get worse. And by the point you finally decide it's bad enough, you get somebody to look at it and say, okay, there's nothing you can do. We've got to wipe it. The system's got to be reformatted. We can't even boot into safe mode. This is what I deal with on an everyday basis. And so you want to take steps to correct these things as soon as possible.
And if you do not have a virus software like Norton or something. If you don't have that, shame on you. Get your computer protected.
Yes.
Goodness.
There are free options.
like
There's
going without
Microsoft Security Essentials. There's AVG. I believe there's Avast.
Actually, don't use AVG. It has a horrible security rating. Use something else other than AVG.
I like
Avira.
Avira, yeah. I like Microsoft Security Essentials personally. It seems to be pretty aware. It's a very, very lean program. It doesn't take a lot of resources. You can scan, and your computer is still usable, which is really awesome. The interfaces makes a lot of sense. As a comparison, one of the pay products that one of the stores I work for uses McAfee. I'm not a fan of McAfee, but it's not because it is or is not effective. I actually don't know on that front. But like finding where to change the schedule for the scan, finding where to change the schedule for the update is like it makes me look stupid because I actually don't know where it's at. And I do this stuff for a living. So the first time I figured out where it was, I wrote it down so that that wouldn't happen on future customers. Where do I go to the schedule? I'm like, oh, I'll bring up my little guide here. Okay, and you walk through this nonsensical process, whereas like you bring up Security Essentials, and it makes there's 4 tabs. 3 of them are exactly what the tabs say. The 4th one's all the settings, and the settings is just like being in my router. You've got a list on the left and stuff on the right. You click an item on the left, the stuff on the right changes, and it's very easy to find stuff. And that kind of lean, mean, easy-to-use program is one of the things that you like in a security product because sometimes you don't have time to mess around with it. You need to scan now. No, you need to update now. Now. So these things putting up blockades to me is unpleasant. Norton isn't. I don't know how good an antivirus it is. I think it's rated pretty average or above average.
I like Norton.
But it's a very, very heavy program.
I'd rather have a Mack truck protecting my machine.
Yeah, but it can be on some of the systems I've run into. Customers like, the thing is so slow. I don't know what's going on. We uninstall Norton. And, it's so much better now.
Yeah.
Is it? I mean,
there are good programs
when you've got,
that are paid for.
Sherry, your machine's not a good indication. You've got a gaming machine, so you've got dedicated video. You've got a lot of RAM. You've got a lot of hard drive space. These are the things that are good. But these machines these customers are getting are still in the less than 200 gigabyte hard drive. Some only have 2 gigabytes of RAM, and they all have integrated video.
You know what? My latest acquisition for my software library was actually to get Office 2010 because I was running Office 2000. Yeah. And it made things a little
Office 2000 is the minimum that will run in Vista.
Yeah. And so now what was it? PowerPoint just kept crashing. So, I went and purchased my Microsoft Office 2010, which is really wonderful, and I really enjoy it. And so, it's one of those things you have to do with your computer what works for you.
I did you one better. I got the Office 2010, all the bells and whistles, 64-bit. And
all right. Let me worship at the altar of the Janae.
Wait.
All right.
Wait, I have awesome news on this front, and this is really taking us down a chipmunk hole here. Have you ever heard of TechNet?
Oh,
nope.
Okay, let's say we go to Newegg and we're going to buy some OEM copies of software. Okay, we're going to buy Windows 7 64-bit Ultimate Edition, and we're going to buy the OEM copy of Office. I don't know what it costs anymore, but it's got to be at least $200 some odd. Okay,
that's OEM for me.
OEM, Original Equipment Manufacturer.
Mm-hmm.
Aha! Go on.
So it's the one. It's the retail copy has a warranty and tech support and stuff, which nobody ever uses. And even if you did, you're gonna be disappointed. So what's the point? So why pay the retail price of $400 for Ultimate or whatever it's costing, $380, $390? You could pay $200. But in any case, what I'm driving at here is Office and Windows, $400 right there. If you get TechNet, if you get the coupon, it costs $250. You get 10 licenses of everything. I think they actually take it down to 5. I take it back. It's going down to 5.
Yeah, it is 5 because people were giving away their keys.
5 licenses of everything. So you've got 5 licenses of Windows 7 Ultimate, 5 licenses of Windows 7 Ultimate 64-bit, 5 licenses of Windows Vista 64-bit Ultimate, 5 licenses of Windows Vista Ultimate non-64-bit, Windows XP Service Pack 3, Server 2008, Microsoft Office 2010. 5 licenses of all of these for $250. It's a yearly thing, though. You have to pay every year.
Yeah.
But the nice thing is when like the new versions of the operating systems come out, you don't have to wait for the retail release. It's on TechNet. You can get it. In addition, when the new version, like the Slipstream installers, like the Windows disk that actually has the service pack built into it, you can get that download instead of having to install Windows and then the service pack. So, and for $250, if you were ever to spend the kind of money to get this software, in both cases, if you ever needed to, this would be the better deal. And if you happen to live in a household with multiple computers, in which I do, you would have the ability to populate those computers with those licenses, which is not in spirit keeping with what it's intended for. It's intended for developers that need to go through licenses left and right.
Yeah, you're building a new piece of software. You need to.
But it's like being on the freeway and it's all clogged up, but this road over here is clear. Well, I'm going to go on the clear road because I can go faster.
It's nice though.
I took a break, and for some reason, you know how sometimes the Cavern just calls to you. You ever had that where you're just like,
I've had that.
I need to go into Cavern right now, and I was actually, I've been reading books on spirituality and stuff like that, and I read the Celestine Prophecy. I know, don't boo hiss or whatever, but it was and it was just this neat little thing. It says you need to notice coincidences, and so I said, for some reason I just need to go into Cavern, and lo and behold, I bump into one of my TMP family members that I hadn't seen since their.com 4 years ago, and he had just downloaded Mist Online Uber Live and had just installed it, and he went into the city, and there I was sitting at the top of the steps.
So you're like psychic, STP or something like that.
It was so funny, though, and it was really neat. And so I posted on Facebook what are you thinking now? I'm like, yeah, I'm in Mool, and MOUL. And my friend KP goes, Mool? And I'm like, that Cavern I keep talking about where the people are really cool and everybody's really great? There. Yeah, that's it. Uru. And it was really cute because I sat there and visited, and I come back to Facebook not an hour later, and there's 5 people that are my friends going, oh my God, I didn't know you were in there. Had I known you were there, I would have gone. And it's just so funny because for just some weird reason, I went into Cavern, and by the way, I went and solved Minkata with no walkthrough. Oh my gosh. I don't ever do that again. I still can't find the soccer ball.
I don't understand why Minkata's got to be so huge. I mean, why can't the walkthrough be still maybe 100 paces out instead of 500 and some odd?
Because that would make it easy.
Well, I don't mind easy.
when has being from our community ever been easy? When have the puzzles ever been easy?
Well, I want the trees back that were obviously growing there at one point.
Forget Jalak. But I'm serious, we are not from a world.
What if Jalak is a puzzle we still haven't solved?
Jalak, I'm sorry. They can shellac Jalak because I ain't going. But, I went through and
I still like Quacker.
Huh?
Oh, it's this 4-way soccer game that I invented in Jalak. I call it Quacker.
Oh, and see, you have to go and see the Quabs and Anone, and so if I don't leave my friends in the community with anything, go in and say hi to people. Do
you ever go in and just reset an age just to play through it again?
Yes, I've done that. Many times. The one I will not redo for all the tea in China would be Ni Hao. Is Anone.
Yep, I was going to say. That's the one I won't touch. I won't touch Anone.
I reset that one either.
Yeah, but I went
totally
reset.
You know what I haven't done though? You know what I have not done? I have not done the door puzzles. You guys went and you had the back in April. You guys had the griefer, the griefer from hell that kept pushing claws. I still have yet to do the door puzzles. So we all need to go in. Have some.
Oh yeah, I haven't
yet
done those
to finish my entire journey because I cannot stay connected when I'm alone in an age. I get disconnected after about a minute or so. Although the sole exceptions seem to be Teledon. For some reason, I could stay connected.
And see, that's the reverse for me. Teledon's the one I seem to get booted from the most.
It's the shrooms, Dalkin. Quit eating the shrooms.
But they're so tasty.
Dolphin in the sky
It's not a
with
chocolate orange.
Shroomy.
The Shroom Burgers.
Hey, I owe you.
I forgot the name of the age, but the one I always like is the tree age.
Tree age. There are so many trees.
No, the one where the Relto page is a tree.
That is Kaddish.
Kiddish, yes.
Kaddish Dosa.
Yeah, that's the one I'll reset and replay.
Dude, that's the one I was.
I really did like.
I like strolling through that one because they've got the sound that gives you such a feeling for the size of the place. It was really well done there.
Mm-hmm.
And so, anyway, let's move forward here.
Finally.
Sorry, I had to take a trip to Cavern.
Where were we?
Well, actually, speaking
We were
of,
yelling at Wing.
Speaking of places underground, there is a bullet point called Minecraft. Now, this could be a mine that you're digging into, or what is it? Tell me about Minecraft.
It's the most awesome sandbox game ever. Well, maybe Anthony would be better at starting this off. I'm really not good at kicking stuff off like this.
Okay. All right. Minecraft is kind of just an open world where you get to build whatever you want. It's a world made out of blocks. Have you ever
like if
thought
Lego
of
and
doing
Second Life had a
Legos
child.
on a large scale?
And don't the blocks have a pattern on it? It looks like it's reminiscent of like a Mario game to me.
Kind of. It's everything in there is very retro as far as, it's.
It looks like an 8-bit game,
pixelized.
Yeah, 8-bit.
But it's
It looks
3D.
like it looks like what Doom would be if it was actually truly 3D.
True.
It's kind of like that, but yeah, basically, when you start out, you're just kind of your avatar there, and you can dig up the dirt with your hands, and you can actually claw out the trees and stuff, and from that, you'll get resources, so you can make wooden tools, and from that you can then dig out the rocks and stuff. Basically, you mine into the ground, and you can make better and better tools. You can start out with wooden tools, and then you build up to stone tools, and then steel tools, and et cetera, all the way up to diamond. And the better the tool is, the more uses you get out of it, and the faster you can mine things. And certain things you can only mine with a certain kind of tool. The thing about that is that in there's different modes of the game. So there's a creative mode, and then there's a survival mode. And the thing about the survival mode is it's very imperative to make your shelter before the sun goes down, because
or you're going to be running all night.
Yeah, you are very squishy, and there are a lot of things that like to eat you.
And it gets very, very, very dark.
Yes,
it does. If you don't have torches at night, you...
Yeah.
One of the fun things about the game, though, is it's one of the elements that's similar to Uru. You can just spend all your time in peaceful mode just exploring. If you dig down, you're almost guaranteed to hit a cave or some set of caves in a labyrinth system that go on forever. I mean, just a week ago, we were just digging around on a multiplayer server of it, and we just hit this one cave, and we kept digging and going further and further out, and there was just more and more. It's still, we haven't hit the end of the thing.
The stuff you can build in this is, you can literally put together anything that you can imagine, pretty much. There's someone who actually made a Terran battle cruiser from StarCraft.
Yeah, I saw someone make the skeleton to an Enterprise D. Someone made a computer.
And then someone made... Actually, they made the intro to... What was it? BioShock. They made Rapture.
Oh, yeah.
Speaking of big, let's talk about Black Mesa. It's been really anticipated. It's basically a mod for Half-Life 2.
Yeah, it's a
which is a full conversion of
or
Half-Life 1.
reimagining of the original Half-Life with modern graphics on Half-Life 2.
Oh, wow. That sounds pretty cool.
Yeah,
So,
it was actually
wait.
born out of discontent with Valve's release of Half-Life Source, which only added ragdoll
Source
physics and
physics.
better water.
Wait. Is this the same Black Mesa that they mention in Portal?
Yes.
Okay.
Portal is in the same
there's
universe as
Black
Half-Life
Mesa,
2.
the location, and there's Black Mesa, the game.
Black
Mesa, the game, takes place in Black Mesa, the location.
Okay.
The original Half-Life takes place in Black Mesa location. Black Mesa Source is basically they're updating the graphics and everything.
The engine, the
because
physics, everything.
the Black Mesa Source project is an effort to bring all the graphics and the sound and all that up to date with the current quality, taking full advantage of everything that the Source engine has to offer.
Yeah, it looks really nice.
Yeah.
Thing
It
has
actually-
been in
it- some-
development for a while.
To some extent, it looks
Yeah.
better than Half-Life 2.
Well, okay, so you guys, it looks like they're reminting all of these games. I mean, we're talking about good old games and how you can download that stuff now. Black Mesa.
Yeah, they don't make them like they used
And
to.
then you have your Beyond Good and Evil, which is apparently getting a high definition re-release.
Yep, high definition. They're gonna touch up the textures. They're gonna raise the resolution to 1080p.
They're redoing the music.
Yep, we know that Beyond Good and Evil 2 was announced in 2008 at E3.
Yes.
And here we are, 2010. Over 3 years later.
Yeah.
Excuse me, 2 years later, and we haven't had the any kind of not even screenshots update on where the game is at.
No.
And so, I don't know, I almost feel like the redo of Beyond Good and Evil HD is sort of to placate us. But I'm willing to bet that if Beyond Good and Evil 2 is coming, it's still a year off.
Oh, I'd say it's a good 2 years off at the earliest.
Let's go home for a second because we've gone way beyond our cavern home. The Mist movie finds a partner for real this time.
Yep.
What is going on there? And of course, we have comics that are showing that. Oh yes, this lever works. Oh well, maybe if I push it, and they're making fun of that about how our 3D spatial puzzles can be made into a movie. But what they don't realize is that it's not a movie about the puzzles. It's a movie about the story. Greatest story.
It's just a satire. He understood what was going on.
I know, but still, the Penny Arcade Guide, that was low. So tell me about, because I've been following the production blog. So let's talk about these partners. Who are the partners?
I just saw that it was something to do with the guy behind the Dawn Treader, the producer of the Dawn Treader.
Okay, so it looks like from the article we found, it is producers Hunt Lowry and Mark Johnson.
Yep.
And to quote the article, have been partnered with Adrian Vanderbosch and Isaac Testerman of the Mysteria Film Group. It looks like they are having a lot of fun redoing the script. And
reworking.
If they hurt my beloved canon, I am going to take a stick to somebody, because the Book of Tiana is just so rich, but it's one of those things. You know how John, you were talking about how when I really went off on my WoW stuff, I was in my own little world, and only people who play WoW really know what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
that's true.
Okay, this is the same thing when we go into the Book of Tiana, is that you really have to have a background in the Mist universe to really know this.
Well, I think in some cases also they'll have to flesh out some details that that the book didn't cover. And this is one of the places where, as an example, a book I'm reading lately, they were talking about making into a movie. And the reason I know they won't do it is because it talks about terrorism coming from India and China and whatever, and there's just too much offense to be had making a movie about those kinds of things. In the same vein, the book being turned into a movie, there's a lot of considerations, like the houses didn't have roofs, but it looks like the renderings that they made at the Cavern showed roofs, and there's just all these things that may or may not see the same light of day.
Well, see, for me, my one problem, there is so much backstory to get to the point where Viovis is going to blow everything up. There's so much backstory that is not even... You have to have lived through the Mist universe and done all the games to know where you're at. So I'm kind of out on that, because if they excuse me, I'm sorry, bleep me if you must, but if they bastardize the Book of Tiana, I am going to be so mad. I will protest.
The problem to me is there is when you're dealing with books and you're dealing with movies, you're dealing with experiences. These are things that it's hard to really do. There's only been a few movies I've seen where they really, in my opinion, have captured what the book was. I think the Da Vinci Code is almost the same experience, book or movie. The Angels and the Demons, not so much.
Oh no! Oh gosh, I walked out of the film.
But the thing is, I mean, I don't require that a movie be absolutely true to the books to be a good movie.
Right. I mean, look at Tolkien.
Yeah, like the Lord of the Rings movies were very well done, but there's a whole lot of the books left out. And my opinion is that when you make a movie, you're making an experience that movie goers will enjoy, and that's the beginning and ending of the thrust of the discussion of what you want to achieve. The problem is that in this case, I don't know how this book is going to translate into a movie that our how should we say, more fickle American audiences tend to favor. It's some cases like the last Star Trek movie, J.J. Abrams did that, and I'm sorry, there's another experience. Mission Impossible 3 were both really clever, in my opinion. And in some cases they're well received, in some cases they're not. But they're not clever on the level of like they're thought provoking. They're just sometimes there's little twists in the movie that make you go, huh, okay. And that's the kind of thing that I think that would punch up this type of a movie, is to make it really clever. But I don't know if that's in the book. You know what I'm saying? So,
well, I mean, the whole thing is that, you know, Rand and Robin, they're a minister's son. Of course, and the entirety of the Book of Tiana is really, you know, it interweaves these very spiritual themes.
Yeah. And
really, that's the hard part, is translating that. I mean, we've got the action. We've got Atreus grabbing Viovis before he plummets down, you know, when the earthquake hit. We've got a lot of action, but it's all very visually stunning. To weave our story, which is long, drawn out, a lot like this talk. It's long, it's drawn out. You know, it's something really huge that I don't think you can cover in one film. It's like, you know, doing the Harry Potter books, you know, to get all of it. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I've read some of the Harry Potter books, and there is so much detail missing when it hits the silver screen.
Yeah, and as I said, you know,
like, it's just impossible to put all of that in a movie without making it.
I think that you're setting yourself up for disappointment. I think there's going to be changes on the front that's gonna disappoint you. I think, because that's the way movies from books, movies from series tend to go.
If the movie even gets made, Mysteriacs, we wish you luck. I hope to goodness that we do see it on the silver screen, so that way we can talk it out right here on TCT Talk.
Yep.
So let's go. One more. Let's go. I'm steering the boat. I am taking control of the wheel. Okay, you guys are talking about Microsoft wants to challenge Steam. It's our final bullet point.
Yeah. Now that was me extrapolating the what their intentions are. It may not be exactly what they're trying to do. But what they're offering is something they want to. I haven't read the full article. It sounds like it's something they want to build into Windows 8.
They're revamping Games for Windows Live to be browser-based rather than just client-based, to see if they can fix some of the issues they've had there. On the Windows 8 front, it looks like they're planning to include an app store directly into Windows, which might include things like the Games for Windows Live stuff.
Yeah. Well, in any case, the weaknesses, the way I see it with Games for Windows Live is, first off, it's when you install a Games for Windows Live game. And the first Games for Windows Live game I got was Gears of War, and I had Windows XP at the time. And it was such a kludge to get the game running. First off, you had to update Games for Windows Live. And every time I did, I logged in. I would log in and provide information, check the box, say, remember this crap so I don't have to type it again. I have to put in the license key, type it in manually, and then start the game. Oh, there's an update for Game for Windows Live. Okay.
Yeah, I had that whole bit with Fallout 3, and it was like, oh my god.
And if you sit there and you wait, like, I don't know if this or Windows 7 fixed it, because I think it was more smoother on the last Game for Windows Live game that I played was BioShock 2, where it actually close the game and launch the patcher, whereas you have to force the game to close after like 15 minutes of like, what the heck is going on? I'm waiting and waiting, waiting. And finally, when you shut the game down, the patcher launches. Okay, it needs to tell me this stuff so I know to do it. And then you launch the patcher, you log into Games for Windows Live. Oh, guess what? There's another Games for Windows Live update. I'm like, oh, crying out loud. So we do it another round, another of the shut the game down. Then you get the game, and then it's okay, this game has a patch. And every single time one of these little flippy-do things has to happen, I have to log back in again. Even though I told it to remember my login.
Like Steam or Xbox
see,
Live,
it needed to be a client outside the game that can update outside the game without the game being launched. And then lo and behold, they did that. But the social portion, where your friends see that you're online, or whatever, or you can see that they're online, doesn't exist unless you're in a game. Mm-hmm. Which again is a fault to me, because sometimes you want to be joined into a party and then you go into the game.
Yeah.
And that's where Steam just hasn't,
Well, and it's just nice to be able to talk to people while you're waiting for this freaking update to go through. Mm-hmm. It's like, oh yeah, this update's going to take me half an hour to get done because, whatever reason. And
so in my
it's
case,
like, and you can't talk to anyone because you can't be in the game while it's updating.
Yeah, so to me, Steam has this thing beaten hands down already, and I'm not saying Microsoft shouldn't do it, but the thing is like Ubisoft has gotten into the deal with their games on the PC require a PC connection, a constant PC connection to the internet in order for them to actually be activated, which is not as big an issue if they aren't being denial of service attacked like the Assassin's Creed 2 was, but. It seems like EA wants to have a piece of this pie. It's like everyone wants to have this connection required of your game in order for them to actually have all the content that you want. Like for Mass Effect, in order to know that there's extras or whatever, you have to log into, what was it called? Something net.
Cerberus Network,
yeah. And so it's like, my thing is that just everyone wants a slice of this pie, and I don't know why everyone must have it.
Well, everyone wants it because to them, they can cut out someone in the middle and have more direct control over their cash flow.
But, if the games are on Games for Windows Live's program, like I can download them there or I can get them on Steam, I'm getting them on Steam. If I can get it in the store in a disc or I can get it on Steam and I don't need a disc, I'm getting it from Steam. I mean, there's no comparison.
Yeah.
I mean, I like the idea of being connected to the Xbox Live service. I like that this merges these social communities, but since you can't, if it was a multiplayer game, say Modern Warfare 2, which is not, it was just Steam based, not Games for Windows Live, but let's just say it was Games for Windows Live. If you could play with people on the Xbox, of course you would own them left, right, and upside down. But if you could, that would be a bigger step for me. But the only game that they tried that for, they had to nerf the PC players so hard that PC players didn't like it. It was a Shadowrun.
Yeah, Shadowrun.
Yeah, so I don't know. I'm happy they're advancing the platform, but when I open the program and I can't see my friends who are on Xbox Live or on Games for Windows Live online at that time, it's like, what is the point of this? It really.
Yeah.
No, you just might as well walk away from the computer, and it's.
Yeah.
If you want to be at the computer, it's irritating.
Well, they also mentioned that they're gonna have sales and what have you, and I was like, I don't know that your library is big enough to justify that. I mean, I keep Steam on at all times because the sales could happen at any minute. I know that
they last for 24 hours, so I'm not too concerned there.
I know that in November, I'm just going to try to have as much extra money as I can because after Black Friday, the crazy Steam sales will start.
Yeah, but last year they had their crazy sales after Christmas.
I don't know. I forget when it was. We had the week of craziness in July.
Yeah, I think they had a crazy sales week after Christmas.
Now, when did they have the free portal day or weekend or whatever it was?
Free portal was the gateway to the Mac Steam client, if I recall correctly.
Yeah.
No, but guys, I did want to hop in. You guys were saying something about it patching constantly. With 4.0 for my WoW players, with 4.0, what they did is they Blizz debuted a new launcher. Is that you will download the patch to a certain point and then it becomes playable. So that way you can keep downloading content and then go play at the same time.
Oh, so it's just like Guild Wars finally.
Yeah, Guild Wars.
They finally stepped up, and it's very similar to Steam and everything like that, where you're able to get your update while you play.
Yeah,
so
but
it can download.
so long as
that initial patch though took forever.
Yes. Well, yeah, of course.
That's WoW patches for you.
It was like it took me like 2 hours. It was like, oh my god.
At least it's new content, okay? Now, be grateful for what you got. It's one of those things. This should be a basic Uruism for you guys. Be grateful for what you have and make do with what you got.
Yeah.
But, that's just me.
Oh, it's not a problem with me. I don't
It's
play
hard
WoW.
to make do with what I got if I can't use it.
It's true. So, for this edition of TCT Talk, this was Janathus,
That's me.
Wing,
My microphone smells like Fruit Loops.
you, Anthony,
See you guys around.
Dalkin.
Farewell, citizens.
God, now they've got me laughing.
That's our job.
Oh, God. And I'm Sherry. Thanks so much for listening. See you next time.
piece was called Ver Calidus, and it was written and produced by our very own Maurus. Now it's time to hear from the one and the only Mowog.
Hello again. This is Mowog for the Cavern today. I never tire of this view. Sitting alone on the grand staircase and looking out toward Karath's Arch. As many times as I've been to this spot, the emotions I feel here haven't diminished since the very first time I climbed the stairs and turned around to look across Agura's shining lagoon. This was once a place of gathering for us, but it's so quiet now. It's a good place to meditate, and I like to bring along some of my favorite books and spend entire afternoons lost in the wonder of the cavern and lost in a good story. Today I'm reading the Book of Tiana again. It's a thrilling saga, and, not surprisingly, revisiting the story here in the very cavern where it took place is a deeply moving experience. So many blame Tiana for the fall, but I can't bring myself to do that. Perhaps in an earlier, more enlightened time, she would have eventually been welcomed by all of the Dunny. Oh, there surely would have been opposition, but nothing like the rebellion that came at the hands of Viovus. Tiana was a gentle-hearted explorer, an adventurer, and not a destroyer. I feel that she was more like the Denis of old than they'd care to admit. She entered the cavern because she was driven. It was something new, something she hadn't yet seen, and that was all the motivation she needed. Her heart was hungry for new horizons, and in the cavern, she found so much more than she could even imagine. She found wonders. She found an ancient civilization. She found wisdom. She found prejudice. She found love, and she found calamity. How tragic it was that there were some to whom the letter of the old Denis laws meant more than the spirit of those laws, as if these men could even think that far outside their narrow mindset. The true Denis thrived on exploration, on defining new worlds and then traveling to them to drink in their wonders. What happened? How could that spirit be so thoroughly consumed by blind pride? Oh well, the ones who could answer those questions are no longer with us, I'm afraid. Yisha could probably explain it all, and I'd love to sit here and discuss the old Denis with her, but her work has taken her far from us. I always think about Tiana when I come to the cavern. For at first, I too was an outsider, but at least there were no Dunny to bar my entry. They had all departed long ago at the time of the fall. This time, as the great tree grew again, I found friendship and a warm camaraderie that made the cavern and the ages destinations I eagerly sought on a almost daily basis. What a joy it was to link in and find fellow explorers, kindred spirits with whom I could share my adventure. Just as Tiana found her soulmate in Atris, I bonded with my friends who had also felt the call. And even though I'm rather shy by nature and reluctant to open my heart to strangers, it was different in the cavern. I knew that we had all come for the same reason, and this drew us together. But just as with the old Dunny, the grandeur of a new Denis civilization was too much to hope for. Restoring the cavern has proven to be a much bigger challenge than anyone anticipated. The DRC has moved out and left us only the few linking books they had found and approved. It's now up to us to emulate the old Denis and write new ages, and many have taken the plunge. But old ways die very hard, and without the guilds of old, these new ages have been made available to only a handful. So many of us want to visit them. But we can only wait until new procedures have been put into place so that the books can be safely distributed to us, the new Denis. And in the meantime, we wait. Much later in her life, an older and wiser Tiana asked her son, "Atris, what do you see?" And sitting here on these steps, I can hear her ask me, "Mowog, what do you see?" My answer? I see wonders. I see vivid dreams only partially fulfilled. I see hope in the face of failure. I see faith in the original promise. I see potential. I see good friends, and perhaps that last is the best of all. For the Cavern today, this is Mowog signing off.
You know, it's always amazing when I consider the talents of our staffers, and well, the talent found throughout the Uru community. I mean, just when you figure things are stagnant and you've seen it all, someone comes out with some amazing treat to dazzle you or show you that the community is still alive and kicking. I mean, perhaps we work not to restore what once was, but to form what can be. I leave you with that. And for the Cavern today, this is Tyon. See you next time.
But Pamela, she seems so friendly. This call is being recorded.
How come Japan gets all the good days?
Because that's where they're made.
I don't understand why that's important.
Video games come from Japan.
Look, chocolate orange.
Oh, where?
Go get it. And
Asked me how to get there, and I told you how to get there.
yeah, it's like, you're gonna miss it. And
Are we there yet?
We'll get there when we get there.
You.
That's cheating. That's not true letter. That's not true widescreen.
No, I'm sorry. I have the weather thing in front of me, and I know that it's right because the weather is always right. I shall find you an image, and you will see how cool they are.
But when you actually get into it, it's tedious foppery.
What's foppery? That was my question.
You know what? We should really save this for the talk.
We really should. We should start this before we waste any more ideas.
Yeah, we're going quick because
I'm not wasted. Is Wing wasted?
Nugget.
Alham was wasted last night.
Nugget. Okay. Yeah, I was like, hey, we're all up. Why don't we just do it now? And everybody's like, Alhan's drunk. Show.
Alhan's drunk. Wow, that's not something I could really imagine.
Dun dun dun. Nathan is loud with his kitchen stuff.
It sounded like he was making ice.
There's ice going in a glass.
Which means that his computer is close to his kitchen.
Where his kitchen is close to his computer.
Do.
I like to call him Dalkini Starbini, but, you know, it's up to you.
Okay, so who else is in here with us?
Playhouse.
Starbini?
I'm not.
Seriously?
It sounds like someone from Pee-wee's Playhouse.
We're back to using our anuses.
We've been back.
So
Anthony is no longer Anthony, he's now Anthony.
Nathan. You're confusing her.
But I want to